It's me, Karen Gorey, again, keeping you informed. I adhere to the scriptures, and the Bible does say whatever's done in the dark will be brought out into the light. And he tells us to stand up for the hurting, the broken, the weak, and the imprisoned and hospitalized, everything. The Bible tells us to be the, repairer of the breach. And we hear believers tiptoeing around and saying, take it easy and this and that and everything. We're being mass slaughtered by entities that have no lawful foundations. So I've been doing this for over a decade or so on this level. Before the sovereignty, the crown business, the the freedom rallies and all that. Before all that, we marched for land rights. We fought for children. I was just sharing with my family the other day about how when we had a police chase, the families would get together and say, "Yous have no right chasing our kids, especially when it leads to death," which was nearly all the time. And as yous know, people think that it's okay to just criminalise someone on the say-so of media statements, one-sided versions of government, one-sided versions of media. And we've had 2 centuries of propaganda coming from these mainstream media outlets, alongside the governments who sanction laws to further oppress and usurp the crown sovereign authority of the tribes. And see, we kept digging and digging until we've got to the core of a lot of their systems, and they are accountable to others. And we have found that they are all private members, associations, administrations. But you are the crown. Tribes. Everybody is, really, if you believe in Yeshua, Jesus. You believe in the cross and what the cross did. You really have to know what it did. And that's what happened when I sort of really found this next level of information about the crown and how the crown matriarchs sit as supreme over it all. When you look at all the tribal histories all over the world, everybody knows that there's matriarchal law is there, but we didn't know this. That was unfolded to us by well-meaning and admirable, honourable private members that have lifted the lid on this and showed us what's going on. So that's we've had our notices put on courts and mayors, and it's not been like vicious notices that were threatening and all this sort of stuff. It's just letting them know who we are. And we had cases removed. We've stood in support of people and shifted. We're not going to stop. Going to keep going. We want the release of all our children and our babies out from foreigner care and administrations. We've got rights and entitlements the Creator gave us. We was already operating in law of nature, law of nations, international law, with the evidences of all the different nations that work, the tribal nations that were visiting us. We've got Chinese, Asian boats painted on our caves, and some of our families have got that tie-dye, part Asian, even though they might be real dark skin. A lot of them are, actually. We've got so much interactions. We've got Stonehenge, 2 of them. We've got pyramids, glyphs. There's so much interactions that our tribes were all doing. And the original maps show that we was all one landmass. And our country gravitated right away from the main populace of the world. And I believe the Creator kept us apart for a reason. And now, just as the scripture says, the last will be first and the first will be last. Save the best for last. He will use the simple to confound those who think they're wise of this world. 1 Corinthians 1. Anyway, I just want to share this good news with you. It is good news. We're not laying down. We're going to keep going. I've just recently sent a notice asking the Bishop of Brisbane to meet with us to explain how can they be all affluent up in our lands and we're sitting here scraping together bread price. You know, like, that's not right in anyone's lands. It's not of the Creator. It's not of Yahushua. We've had a very evil regime fall from heaven, and they was entrusted to look after us, and they turned, and this is what's happened. The Babylonian and Egyptian and Roman Greece empires rose back up again after Yahushua defeated them at the cross, took them as slaves. The Vatican rose up, Constantine being the descendant of the Greeks, and created the Vatican, which is made up of all those, it's like one big occultist group that claim that they was the pathway to heaven, which is not true. So when we say decolonize, you have to decolonize the religious orders. Fear and judgment came from all the man-made institutions. When you can decolonize that and start seeing your women, your females and your children as valuable, that's when you know you're free. When you can see love for your own motherlands and your women and your children without colour, without judgment or fear, without feeling threatened, that's when you know you're truly free. Brothers, sisters, you're not your enemy. Fill up with love, fill up with courage, understanding to help you love, and ask the Creator Almighty to give you eyes to see and ears to hear what the Spirit is saying. Yahweh.